welcome back to the Watchmaking Roadtrip adventure, and this new episode we will let you discover some pretty exceptional timepieces, including quite a few minute repeaters considered as one of the holy grail of complicated watchmaking. So we are still by Audemars Piguet in the beautiful Vallée de Joux, and after having visited the workshop dedicated to the super high complications of the brand, well, it was time to move on. But before going through the rich history of Audemars Piguet, we made a quick impromptu visit to the office of the CEO of the company, Mr. François-Henri Benamias, a rather flamboyant man who, before taking the helm of the company, was in charge for many years of the US market, and he shared with us quite a few funny war stories of his US experience.
When you will be done with your touring of Switzerland for a week, there is only one place that you will have to remember as being the best place in your life ever. And it will be AP for Audemars Piguet. Just in case you don't feel that way, come back and see me.
The CEO for AP, well, this guy is a character. I mean, I can't even begin to describe. I really felt the connection to him because, I mean, he's young, he's talented, he's successful, but he's still down to earth, and he wants us to enjoy what he does, and we did.
When you work for Audemars Piguet, you do or you don't. You don't try. Is that clear?
Je travaille pas ici.
Ouais? No?
He's very much into working hard and playing hard because he doesn't take himself too seriously. So yeah, quite a funny character. I wouldn't want to be in his office if he's angry because of that samurai sword, but...
The real shoes, Shaq?
No way.
That's a real size. Huge. That's a real size.
I have to see the weight of that. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's insane.
So now it was time for us to go to Audemars Piguet's historical building, where it all started in the late 19th century. From the start, the brand distinguished itself with what is known as complicated watchmaking. And though this term complicated could be a turn-off in our general daily life, well, in watchmaking, it's what makes this mechanical craft so fascinating. And as Neil would say, this is really super micro engineering.
It's not dust, it's a component.
Though Switzerland is rather small, different parts of this tiny country are specialized in different fields of watchmaking, and the heart of complicated watchmaking can really be associated with the Vallée de Joux for the special skills and patience watchmakers have developed there. And this is still valid today, as you will find many other brands either being fully established here or having special ateliers where these skills are put to the limit.
It's insane.
So we visited the brand's own museum. It gave the guys a really good overview of the rich history of the brand, from the early stages to more contemporary timepieces, including the very first Royal Oak, a timeless watch design that came out in 1972, a very good year. When the watch was launched, this was really seen as a revolution, since it was the first time a steel watch entered the family of luxury watches. Over the years, we can easily say that it has become an icon, even more when Audemars Piguet started a new trend for sportier and larger watches with the launch of the Royal Oak Offshore in the early 90s.
One day.
It's a stone called quartz routine.
Wow.
It was time to visit a very special atelier where two great guys were waiting for us. In this workshop, these watchmakers are specialized in the restoration of some exceptional timepieces, and many of them are minute repeaters. As a quick reminder, minute repeaters are watches that chime on demand, meaning that they tell time through sound. This was particularly functional when at the time you didn't have electricity and the possibility of switching easily a light by the side of your bed. Well, by listening to your watch, you could know precisely the time in the dark. To do so, you activate a special mechanism generally found on the side of the watch's case, which then transforms the actual notion of time into different sounds. Inside the watch, you have what is called gongs and hammers. These go in pairs, and you have one sound for the hours, another one for the quarters of an hour, and finally one for the minutes. So let's hear a concrete example.
11, Okay, that's a 30, 44.
It's 10 hours, 2 quarters,
Yes, 30.
and 11 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, 11, 12 minutes.
Okay, 42,
10, 42, exactly.
I had a sense of what I was getting myself into, but when they brought out the old watches that they were restoring and the grand complications and one grand complication after another, and they played at the minute repeaters and you can hear the sound in person, it really brings your respect to another level.
These watches are considered by many as the holy grail of complicated watchmaking because they imply extreme technicality and generally an astounding number of components that need to work on demand. Only a few watchmakers in the industry have these special skills, and it represents naturally the dream of all watchmakers to one day being able to work on such timepieces. And our guys had the opportunity of testing some of their own skills, maybe another career change for some of them.
Please. Yeah, but I help you. I help you. Yay! It's good. You understand? Good, hey, good. Hey!
Campeón!
Good, well done.
I can feel it.
I have never seen minute repeaters in my life, so this was the first experience I've ever had with minute repeaters. Hearing them and seeing some of those. I mean, I've seen them obviously on TV and your channel and other stuff, but no, to manipulate them, to look at them through a magnifying glass and see the cathedral underneath. No, first time. More impressive in person, I would say. I encourage anyone to try to handle a minute repeater and look at those wheels start to spin and listen to those gongs.
The quality of a minute repeater is not only judged by the fact that you naturally have to have the according amount of gongs corresponding to the time displayed, but very importantly to the quality of the sounds themselves, their depth and intensity, but also the actual timing of the different sound indication. They must be precise and equal in length depending on the gongs used and the passage from one to the other one too. Audemars Piguet naturally continues to carry this special craft and has actually developed some serious evolution with the introduction of what they call the super sonnerie, a minute repeater with revolutionary acoustic performances. So that was it for the visit of this wonderful atelier, and we quickly went to another one where Audemars Piguet also works on some pretty extravagant and funky high jewelry timepieces, all done in-house. But now it was time for the lads to pursue the dream, as we could go in a special safe room where we could test these great watches on our different wrists. Yes, dreamland for us.
This company has been founded from scratch, and they have the know-how to do everything, and literally everything.
For movement skeleton and the case skeleton.
From grand complications by hand, to restoring grand complications by hand, to setting jewelry, they are a proper, legitimate watchmaking company.
This marked the end of our visit of Audemars Piguet, and in the next episode you will get to meet a legend of watchmaking, Mr. Philippe Dufour, an extraordinary craftsman who presents to the highest degree possible what traditional watchmaking is all about. See you very soon.